After my last tier list video, you guys said you wanted a DLC one. Well, here it is. We got a big list of Fallout DLCs down there, and I'm gonna do them in chronological order, like mainline game style, so Fallout 3, New Vegas, stuff like that. Let's start with Broken Steel. Broken Steel I'm gonna give a B from the Fallout 3 Broken Steel situation. While I do think that being able to play post-game in Fallout 3 is a cool addition, I think it should have been there from the start. It's one of the things that I don't like about New Vegas, though it makes more sense in New Vegas because the whole thing changes after Hoover Dam. With Fallout 3, seeing this battle through is something that should have been in the game to begin with. It'd be like getting to the Hoover Dam in New Vegas and the game ending, and then a DLC coming out later that allows you to play the Battle of Hoover Dam. This should have been in the game to begin with, which is why it's at a B rank, but I do think that it was decent, and I like the battle between the Enclave and the Brotherhood of Steel. Continuing with the Fallout 3 DLC, we have Point Lookout. Point Lookout I'm going to give an A ranking to. I think Point Lookout was done really well. I really like the world area that they created for this and added to the game for this. I enjoy the story behind it with the church and the ghoul and the brain and everybody fighting it out, all the tribals. I really like the mutated hillbillies. I like the Dunwich tie-ins. I love everything in this DLC. I think it's done super well. The Punga Plant drug trip is something that stands out in my mind. It's just super cool, and I think they did a really good job with Point Lookout, and it added a lot of mystery and excitement to the Fallout 3 game. And up next, we have Mothership Zeta. Now, for a couple of reasons, I'm going to put it in the B rank. While I actually do find the idea pretty interesting, and I'm into aliens and I think it's cool, there's something amiss about Mothership Zeta. I don't know if it's too out there for me, no pun intended. I don't know if it's the audio logs. There's something that brings it down a notch, because I do enjoy playing it. I do enjoy seeing outer space, doing the spacewalk, seeing the sun and the moon and the planet. But there's something not believable about it. And it's not the alien aspect. The one thing that brings this down a level for me especially is at the end, the lone wanderer from Vault 101 now has control of a giant alien mothership. And that it just seems like a weird canon piece to have. And then also is like, what do you do from there with it? You know, like, what do you do with the mothership after that? Do you just use it for supplies like they want you to in Fallout 3? No, they'd fly around, they'd explode. They have infinite power in this world now, and I feel like that's a weird way to end it. Super weird canon to put into Fallout, but hey, it was fun to play through, and I do think the idea is fun. And we have Operation Anchorage up next. I am also giving Operation Anchorage a B. This is another DLC that I do enjoy and I play through every time I play Fallout 3, but there's something amiss about it, which brings it down a level. And I feel like with this one, it's the lack of any real story. There's a couple of things. The real story thing, I mean, like, there's kind of a story, but not really. It relies on a combat simulation that takes place in Anchorage, which is cool. It's cool to see the map of Anchorage. It's cool to see some of the resource wars, even though it is a simulation and so it's not like real, but it still is cool. The fact that it is just a combat run and gun situation with Operation Anchorage does bring it down a notch, but I do like the world map and I do think it was interesting, and I especially like using the pods for virtual reality, which I wish would have been done more in the series. It needs to be done more. You can just teleport to different places for no reason, and they never use it. And we are going to end Fallout 3 by ranking the Pit, which I rank at an A. I've heard a lot of people shit all over this DLC. A lot of people don't seem to like this, but I think that the Pit is one of the better DLCs in the Fallout series. I think it adds a more Fallout vibe to Fallout 3. I think the story of Akira being a baby that is not radiated, and these two factions of slaves and masters fighting over that cure is a terrific story. seeing how a steel mill would run in post-apocalyptic United States. All of it I really enjoy. I really enjoy this DLC. I don't play through it as much as some of the other ones. I haven't played through it in a while, but I really enjoy the story. I really enjoy the vibe, and yeah, I think it gets an unfair rap amongst the player base. Moving along now, getting into New Vegas, one of my favorite Fallout games. We have Dead Money. Dead Money is the one with the Sierra Madre, and I'm not afraid to give this little guy a B. And B is not a bad ranking. A lot of people love Dead Money. They love the story of the Sierra Madre, Father Elijah, the companions that you have in there, Christine, Dog, Dean, all these things, the ghost people. The story is rich. I like it. But there's something that just drags it down for me. I don't know if it feels tedious when I play through it. I think that's more of what it is. It's more like I would just want to get through it as quickly as possible and not spend very much time in this environment at all. Maybe that's what it was designed for. I don't know. But that brings it down a level for me. Still fun, still a really rich story-wise DLC, but B is where it's at for me. And to just get these out of the way, when it comes to the Courier Stash and the Gunrunners pack DLCs, these are stuff packs, these are weapon packs, armor packs, things like that. And so I'm just going to throw them into C because I do think that they added some fun stuff to New Vegas, but they're not really DLCs. Now we got Lonesome Road with our boy Ulysses, and I'm going to give that a B as well. Lonesome Road was a missed opportunity. I think Lonesome Road could be S tier when it comes to these DLCs, but falls a couple of ranks because of the huge missed opportunity with Ulysses. I don't think enough was done to flesh Ulysses out as a character. I don't think enough was done to really drive the rivalry between the Courier and Ulysses home. And this world space is what keeps it from being a C rank, honestly. The total destruction of the divide, all the storms, all this Fallout stuff that I enjoy so much is why it's not at a C. Ulysses is a huge missed opportunity. Really should have fleshed that out more. Moving along, we have one of my absolute favorites, which is the Honest Hearts DLC, and that is going at the top, S rank. The inclusion of Joshua Graham alone bumps this very high in my list, because Joshua Graham is integral to the events that are going on in this area of the Fallout Wasteland in this time period. He is one of the best characters in the entire series, and without a doubt really adds just a tremendous amount to New Vegas being added into the game. But the quests in this as well, or like some of the lore rather, when you get to the survivalist story, tops. Not only that, but this area of the Zion Valley, things like that, it just drives it home for me. I really enjoyed the items added here, the story added here, the religious stuff, because you don't hear a lot of that in Fallout. All of it is fantastic, and Joshua Graham bumps this up to an S rank. Moving right along, we get Old World Blues. I'm giving it an A. The B-movie vibe of Old World Blues adds a lot to the Fallout universe. I really think that it was a great choice. Dr. Mobius and all the other scientists, fantastic. I love the story. I love the world space. Something about it, for me, keeps it from the S tier, but I really think it is a good DLC. I think it adds a lot to the universe and to the lore of Fallout. Big Mountain is a great location. The characters are great. I enjoy having to retrieve different body parts that you're missing, things like that. It's a really cool take on what you can do in the Fallout universe. And now we get to Fallout 4. And the first one that I'm looking at here is Automatron. And I think I'm going to give it a B. I didn't much care for Automatron. I do think it adds some neat stuff when it comes to building robots. I think that's kind of neat. I don't like the inclusion of the Mechanist, especially when it's like a different person. I don't know. The whole thing felt weird, but it's better than a stuff pack. And we have the Contraptions one down here. I'm just going to throw that in D. It's just a stuff pack for settlements. What about Far Harbor? We're going to put it in an A. A lot of people compare Far Harbor to Point Lookout, which completely makes sense to me. It's pretty similar, but What I like about Far Harbor is having this world space in Fallout 4 is very nice. Having the story, and you know what's cool about Far Harbor, and the reason I'd even bump it up, maybe almost to an S, is it actually has player choice, which Fallout 4 lacks a whole bunch of. It seems more like the choices in Far Harbor matter more than they do in the entire game. So that's a good step in the right direction. I think Far Harbor's world space is nice. I think the stories are good between the synths, and the hint that the player character might be the synth, be a synth rather, from this game, I really like, because that kicked off a big bunch of conspiracy theories that I'd enjoy diving into. So I'd say yes, A, just like its friend Point Lookout. And now on to Nuka World, which I kind of struggle between C and B with this, but I think I'm going to settle with C. While I like some of the aspects of Nuka World a lot, there's some that I don't like at all. One of the main reasons this thing is so far down on the list is because of the lore-breaking power armor, which I'll admit is one of my favorite power armors aesthetically in the game. It completely breaks lore, and that bumps this thing down. And the fact that they had to retcon so much just to have that in there, and it's caused so much bullshit just to have that Quantum XO1 in that situation. I get that they wanted to have some kind of cool reward, but they could have picked something different. There are cool, fun aspects of this, mainly becoming a raider and being able to take over settlements, but I think that wasn't fleshed out as much as it should have been, because there's no real consequence to doing so. And also, you just went through as the Minutemen and took all those settlements for the most part. Now you gotta take them back as a different faction. It's just weird. But it's not the worst, and that lore-breaking power armor does set it down just a few notches. We have more of these settlement stuff packs. I don't feel the need to talk much about them. You get stuff for your settlements. Sometimes the items are cool, but they're not really DLCs to me. That about covers it for the DLC for Fallout. They have the 76 stuff that's been coming out down here. 2 of them aren't even really out yet, so I don't feel much like talking about them. I haven't played them. But yeah, that's how I feel about the Fallout DLCs. I don't think any of them have truly been an F, but we'll see. Am I right, boys? Thanks for watching. I love ya. And now it's time to thank the Patreonoids and YouTube channel members that pledge $5 or more, and their support means so much to me. It's ridiculous that everybody who supports me. It's really cool. And here are the list of people. We have Fireflare, Jake Russell, Lisbeth, Nathaniel, Skylar Masterson, Sorry Boy, Squiggles420, and SS1234L. And for YouTube channel members, we have James Meador, Clay395, Corbin King, Kyle S., This Old Planeswalker, TKs-Gimper, Fireflare, Matt Jordan, and Triumph Dog. Thank you so much for the support. I love every one of you, and I'll hope to catch you on the next one.
I gotta testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die, you gon' touch the sky. You gon' touch the sky, baby girl. Testify. Come up in the spot looking extra fly. For the day you die, you gon' touch the sky.